Sit down.
Over the years, we heard a lot about the weights of the bodybuilders in the magazines, and there's a lot of speculation. This year, it's going to be official. You'll see them, and you'll know what they weigh. Take your seats, gentlemen. First bodybuilder, Rich Gaspari.
Rich's focus this year was reducing his body weight over last year. He felt it was too heavy last year and it appeared too blocky on stage, and making his waist look smaller. He feels he'll be able to be more of a threat, more of a viable threat to Lee.
209.5 pounds.
I'm going into this show going in the best that I can be, and that's what I want to do. I want to go in to this show with people saying, man, Gaspari looked phenomenal. Gaspari was the best shape I've ever seen him. You know, and to me, that's more satisfaction than winning this contest. But, you know, I was saying this the whole way training for this contest, but now it comes down to the wire, and I want to win. I want to win this thing bad.
Come on. Hang him and bang it. Let's go. Let's go.
You know, I feel that I've improved my symmetry. I kept that mass in my upper body, but I lost it all in the waist. So now I have more of a streamlined physique, having a smaller waist, but a thicker upper body, a thicker back. Everyone says my back's improved and my arms have improved. Plus, I think with time and maturity, competing in the Mr. Olympia, I started competing in the Mr. Olympia at 22 years old. It's relatively young. And being that young, I feel my muscles haven't matured yet. Now being 25, they seem to look a lot more mature. You know, I have more of that density, but I still think I haven't reached my peak. You know, I still feel that I can continue to keep getting better to at least 30, 35.
Gaspari reminds me a lot of Frank Zane in the old days. Places importance on every single detail, no matter how minute it may be.
It's about 4 ounces for you, Gerard.
He's a very educated bodybuilder in terms of the scientific data and how to apply it to himself, which is probably the reason he looks like he does.
Yeah, I cook for my
He has more detail, and he works with his genetics probably better than anyone in the contest, especially when it comes down to the top 3 or the top 2, and little bitty details become very big details.
No, I'm cooking this one. This is artichoke noodles. It doesn't have any wheat in it, and I don't eat any wheat products right now before a show. Because wheat has, it's called gluten, and a lot of times gluten can make you hold the estrogen, and that can make you retain water.
What is estrogen?
Estrogen is a female hormone. I don't want any of that in my body right now. I'm not depleting now. All the other guys are killing themselves. I was ready a month ago, and basically what I did is just stay on my diet and let myself get harder and harder. The week before a show, what I do is basically watch my sodium level the last 2 days before, and that's all I do. You know, I've been a pro now since 1984, and I've tried every diet, you know, carb depletion, sodium loading, carb loading, and the best diet for me is like everyone usually says, like a week out, I always look my best. If I go on a carb depletion, the only thing I'm going to do is end up eating my muscle away, and then I'm going to start carbing up. And if you don't carb up enough, you're going to end up looking flat for the show. If you carb up too much, you're going to end up holding water. So what I do is try to just stay on a steady calorie intake. And if it looks like I'm losing weight, I'll increase the calories. If it looks like I'm gaining weight, I'll decrease the calories. And that's basically what I do. The last week, I tried to drink a lot of water, a lot of distilled water, to flush out any impurities in my body. The last 2 days, I watched my sodium intake, mostly by cutting out foods like egg whites, which have a high amount of sodium. And that's about it, 2 days before the show. And that's all I do. Well, my fish is cooking, steaming away, some orange roughy. Here I am, the fish. Doesn't that look good? set a new standard in the sport where you have to be almost ultra ripped, and it's to a point where now I have to live up to my standard. If I come in a show slightly off, even though I'm still more ripped than the other competitors, if I'm not Gaspari ripped, it means I'm smooth. I see many bodybuilders, you know, they're coming in really ripped, but they're fainting backstage, or they're cramping up because what they're doing is they're trying to get themselves ripped, and then they end up taking diuretics, dangerous diuretics, which I never do. They lose all the water, their skin looks really tight, and they're ripped, but a lot of times the day after a show, they start drinking and eating, and they'll blow up like balloons. I think a lot of the knowledge I learned from dieting was me reading books. I try to get as many books as I can on dieting. You know, I get books, handbooks of the nutritional contents of food here. Has a listing, there's all different foods, telling you exactly how many calories, carbs, fats, sodiums. And I read all kinds of books on nutrition and, you know, anything to do with nutrition or supplementation, I read about. And I think that's what's helped me out a lot in my dieting. And just me experimenting with my body, I've learned what works for me. See the skin there there's not much left on it. And usually this is the place where you hold water, because with gravity, you know, the water usually goes right down to your ankles. But you can see right here that there's no water that I'm holding now, and it's 5 days before the show. So I feel that I'm ready for this one.
One thing I notice about Rich Gaspari is that he has a very strong center. He believes in Rich Gaspari, and he demands that Rich Gaspari be better than Rich Gaspari at all moments. And that, to me, is one of the definite trademarks of a champion.
Being a bodybuilder like I am, and being the way I am, I'm very, very much focused. And a lot of times I got to sacrifice a lot, even in being in relationships where, you know, with, you know, having my girlfriend, I think about being in the Mr. Olympia and not think about, you know, people's feelings almost, and I'm almost like feelingless because I go into this contest and nothing else matters. And it gets almost bad that way, because this is the type of attitude I have when I'm getting ready for a contest. But after a contest, I have to basically just let my mind free and be a normal person.